This is Sheshachalam from Astro Guide Mysore. Today, let us talk about Jupiter, Guru, Brihaspati, all the synonyms of Jupiter. The biggest planet, Brihat, that is why it is Brihaspati. Brihat means big, large, huge. So, whatever these people do, people who have got Jupiter's influence, will try to think big, do big, achieve big. Good. Because they have big plans to do something in life. So, the karakatwas of Jupiter, that is the significations of Jupiter are, Jupiter is Vidya Karaka, the first major signification. Vidya in the sense that all earthly language, earthly wisdom, the whole knowledge bank of what is required for earth, to live on earth, and what is in earth, what is earth, what is this whole world, the whole knowledge bank, including traditions, customs, and many other religious isms. Like there are many isms like Jainism, Hinduism, Islamism, Taoism, Shintoism, Christianism. All these are isms. Isms are nothing but the theories, the belief system. The whole thing comes under one planet, Jupiter. And that is why this is known as Vidya Karaka, also Jnana Karaka. Here it is Iha Jnana Karaka, that is worldly information and knowledge, worldly knowledge. So Jupiter is the planet which is for wisdom. Wisdom doesn't come just like that. And it comes as the age progresses and the person goes through a lot of, experiences in life. So it's the Karaka for wisdom. The second major Karaka is it is Dhana Karaka, for making money, if positively making money, negatively hoarding money, amassing wealth, more than required, piling up money, negative. Positive, earning money, trying to get good income out of his business, trying to get a good salary because he has worked for it. There is one more negativity here. In spending the same money, what comes has to go, or else it will die with you. So spending money, if it is positive, these people are good at giving charity. They are very good at doing social service. They will not even think before giving dhana, dharma, what we call as charity. But the negative part is, if it is negatively posited, they become misers, they become stingy, they get attached to their property and money so much that they forget every ethics, everything in this world. They want their money, they get the Midas touch. That's the problem. Midas touch is not a positive word, it's a negative word. Midas only wanted gold. His food also became gold. He was so happy at first. But once he started feeling hungry, he understood that I have done something wrong. I should not have asked that everything I touch becomes gold. So, Jupiter is a planet which can make you rich. It can make you gain very good lifestyle, big status. But if it is negatively posited, it will make you alone. It will not give you a family. Because Jupiter is also a Karaka for a big net of family. Kutumba Karaka. Huge network of family. There is a saying in our language, in Kannada, that the worth of the person can be known on the day of his death. That is to say that on the day of his death, how many people will even think about him, remember him, come to see his last journey. So this worth only Jupiter gives. if that person has lived, behaved, and served well in his life, Jupiter will give you that journey. That people are there with you when you are there in this world, and people are also there with your teachings, with your preachings, with your ethics, and with your ideas, even after your death. That is what is Jupiter. That is like living after death. Only Jupiter can do it, and Ketu can do it. These are the only two planets which actually give you the passage to make your work immemorable. That is, that people will be there to take it ahead. There are many examples. I don't have to give you any example for that, because you know there are many people who are still remembered, like the Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda is one of the name everybody knows in the world now. I don't have to even give you an introduction for the personality. That's because it's super big. The figure of Vivekananda has not been hyped. He was like that. There are many other personalities whose figure or their personality has been hyped. It's a pumped up image. Vivekananda was the image what he was. He gave that level of respect to the religions of India, all the religions of India, and his speech in the Chicago meet when he went there representing India is exemplary. People have to go through it to understand what Jupiter can do in one's chart. Please go through all those 9 volumes of the speech. I think it is freely available online. The English is tough, but better keep a Webster or some other dictionary with you. Please go through that. Why I am advising this is because you will understand the capability of Jupiter only if you understand what people have become because of its strength in a chart. Okay, the next Karaka is Dhana Karaka. As I told, that people can amass a lot of wealth or earn a lot of wealth. The third major important Karaka of Jupiter is Putra Karaka or Santana Karaka. People get confused. My students also get confused when I tell Putra Karaka. They tell that, does Jupiter give you son? Doesn't it give you daughter? It's a funny thing. When the whole of biology class we have told that man has 2 kidneys, that means women don't have kidney or what? So it's like it's implied. The same way, Putra Karaka means it is implied that it is Santana Karaka. Progeny is the lord of progeny. Prajanana. Same word directly taken in English. Prajanana, the strength of procreation, is Prajanana. Prajanana. So the same thing has gone into English and become Progeny, however this pronounce it or spell it. Done it. So there is another karakatwa of Jupiter which is also an important karakatwa, because people take it as a minor karakatva. I do not take it anymore as a minor karakatva, because these are the people who are actually becoming a huge income source to many of the hospitals. This is Jupiter is a karaka for sweets. Ikshurasa comes under Jupiter, that is sugarcane juice. So sugar comes under Jupiter. So please try to understand. Jaggery, that is the before sugar, it comes under Sun, and white sugar comes under Jupiter. That is why jaggery or good is good for health. Good is good for health. Sugar will give you diabetes. So try to come out of this, one of the 5 white poisons. Sugar is one of the 5 white poisons, as salt is also one of the 5 white poisons. That is, all these refined things. Now I am not telling that everything which is cleaned and refined is bad. I am just telling you that these two are little difficult. They cause a lot of harm to our body. Highly refined salt and highly refined sugar and highly refined oil. All these 3 will give majority of problems like heart disease, cardiac problems, diabetes, renal dysfunctions, and this is what I am talking about today. Jupiter represents sweets. that is anything which is sweet comes under Jupiter, but particularly made of refined sugar, that is white sugar. Okay. In mundane astrology, Jupiter is referred for the financial comfortable state of the country. All the state affairs are comfortable. People are having, good crop. There is self-sufficiency. People are happy. So this happiness is because of the comfortable situation around everybody. There is no reason that a person, greed is the only dangerous thing that humanity suffers from. One of the most dangerous Shadvargas is greed. That is, though your stomach is full, you still attack somebody else for I don't know what. So Jupiter does not give greed. It is a very happy going planet, very content planet. So it makes a person be satisfied in his life. So, but still, Jupiter will progressively think of doing something big. Earlier days, people like divans, people who were ministers, who were controlling big jagirs, what we are called jagirdars. These people, they were doing good things to the society. Not all of them. Anyway, all of them were not having Jupiter, So, many people have done good for the society, like building dams, by building reservoirs, by building big buildings for schools, for colleges. You can go and see their photos. That is the last remnant, at least by God's grace, at least that is hanging on some corner of the wall in that building, because they have given the whole land free of cost. They have given the building free. They have let go their property. They have done the charity so that the whole community can enjoy something. It might be for the hospital, it might be for the school, it might be for the taluk office, whatever it is. People have done big charities. They have let go of their possessions, half of their property, for well-being. They might have earned it by doing hard work, but they let go with magnanimity. This is a planet which is magnanimous. So it's a great planet when it is positive. It's extremely dangerous planet when it is negative. I'll come to it later on. It also represents a repository. That is where you have granaries, where you have lot of stock of like the Food Corporation of India, which holds the highest stock of food grains, pulses, all this which is required for that is actually cash. It will be funny, when people went to Amazon, they met the natives of the Amazon, the Amazonians. It is there in YouTube. You people can check it over. So $100 bill was given to one of the Amazonian pygmies. And that fellow told such a beautiful thing. He had never seen it in his whole life. Can we make something so thin? He was amazed. He immediately put his hand in one of his sash, pulled out a powder, sprinkled over it, rolled it. It was tobacco. He made it into a cigarette. He made it into a cigar and burnt it in front of him. $100. It was $100 cigar. It's of no use if you have cash in your hand and the other person has food in his hand. The person who has the granary, the person who has all the resources, he is the most richest person in the world. You may have tons of money which is of no use if that person is not willing to sell it. People should be aware that this cachet of food and this produce of farmers which comes under Jupiter, if people do not sell it, I'll tell you, 90% of the world will die of famine if the farmer stops working. So people should give them respect, and I don't know why they are giving them sops. They have to be given facilities, not sops. So farmers are like gods nowadays because they are still ready to go out in the sun and work for so that you people can enjoy it on the table. These are the people. These farmers are represented by sun, moon, and Saturn. But the produce, what the farmers get out of their farms, is all those food, fruit, and many other things which directly come under Jupiter. And that is why it controls the financial and economical stability of a country. It's not because only of industries. Let me come to one of the karakatwas of Jupiter, which is also important, Shastra. Shastra, techniques. So the technology, the whole of technology, the law and order, the technology, literature, and all these educational institutions, banks, come under Jupiter. So this is not just a repository of grains and pulses and other food articles. It is the repository of knowledge. When India was raided by the so-called foreigners, India was plundered in these two areas. All our resources were plundered. They stole everything from us, particularly the British, and they made us, I'm talking in English with you. This is all because of the great work done by the Britishers. But anyway, me now talking only in my native tongue will not spread this knowledge to anybody. That is because we have got integrated into one country, but our problem is that we do not have a single language. I will tell you, if I talk Hindi, only 1/4 of India will understand with difficulty. And if I talk Kannada, not even 10% of India will understand. This is the state of India today, that we have got integrated as a country, but we are without one language which can, span across India. It's a very sorry state, and this was done by British. They methodically killed our education system, methodically slaughtered our education system. There have been instances when they have raided colleges, institutions, and schools and killed all those professors with knowledge. They have burnt books, they have burnt literature, and this was represented by Jupiter, and we have to somehow revive it. As Indians, we have all that responsibility. This generation, which is the generation of information, this is purely information, and information is controlled by Jupiter. And if we have to do it, all those people who have strong Jupiter have to stand up and do it. I am trying to do my part for astrology. Please, people who are having knowledge in any subject, any skill, please stand up and give something to the society. Start giving your lectures on that particular subject free of cost. What will you get? You will get good name. You don't have to ask for anything from anybody. So they are good teachers, preachers, gurus. They are mathadipatis, not those malefically oriented mathadipatis who get caught in scandals. These are pure guys who have really stood up for their institutions. They have stood up for the society. So when Jupiter becomes malefic, this is a very bad thing to go through, but still I want to go through this because I need to tell you the other part of Jupiter also. They become rebellious, manipulative, and cheaters. They become pessimistic, critical about others. They start comparing, like, I got this, they got that, they got the bigger share, I got less. So they do not get satisfaction, they get dissatisfied. They are stingy, rebellious. Anyway, I told you about rebellious. They get the false prestige, pride. Me, my place, my status, my respect. They do not felicitate me first. They should first put the garland on my neck. People will get that. After they die, people will get the garlands around their neck. I don't know why they cry for the garland around their neck on the stages. But that happens when Jupiter becomes negative. Particularly when Rahu, Jupiter and Sun are together, people get into false, prestige. If people are having Rahu, Sun and Jupiter, please check their degrees. Not all combinations of this will lead you to false prestige. one thing. So diseases, these people can, Jupiter can give tumors, and if it is posited with negative planets, impure planets, then it can become malignant, that is cancerous. Renal dysfunction, that is of the kidneys. Infertility problems because it is progeny, and the problem of ear problem, which is the problem of listening, the audibility, the problem of audibility, and breathing difficulties because this also gives obesity, gout, and diabetes, other digestive disorders, hernia, many problems, because Jupiter means they love eating, and people who love eating should know how to exercise, and Jupiter doesn't know how to exercise. He has a pot belly, he wants to sit in one place, always in higher levels. People with Jupiter always would want to take up houses which are elevated in either in the land or the flat which is elevated in an apartment, 10th floor or 15th floor or something like that. They like airy big places. So it also represents Ayurveda, elders, Brahmins, people who are intellectuals. Brahmins in the sense that earlier days Brahmins were intellectuals, and that is why it has been referred like that. Cattle, all types of cattle, other herbivores also like the elephants, and the colors which are represented by Jupiter is gold, golden yellow, and the metal is gold, and the particular pulse is chana, that is the what do you call it? Bengal gram. So the color for Mercury, I think I had not said that. It's green because it is fresh. All pulses with their covering, like the green gram comes for Mercury, and also gram which is made into a dal without removing its upper layer is also, that is the chilka dal, what we call as the green dal, which is also comes under Mercury. So I had not said about that in the Mercury. And for Mercury it is Banakara Mandala in Ishanya, northeast. And this for Jupiter it is I will come over for Jupiter and all those things in the later classes. I think I have covered the major karakatwa of Jupiter, and thank you very much.